So welcome, my fearless climbers. This is the Launch 101 Business Coaching Live program, and I'm so glad to have you here today. So the best part about joining live is you get to ask questions. So the recording is available to you after the session. I load it up for you on our online portal, but when you're here, we get to have discussion and ask questions live. So thanks for participating today. And also, as I'm doing the training today, please be sure to write your questions down. You might think of something while I'm in the middle of talking, and I'll give you an opportunity to ask that question, if not in the middle of the session, but at least at the end, you'll have an opportunity. And of course, I know you all will support and encourage each other. Running a business is challenging and it can be lonely. And so in this community, I hope that we can work together to help solve problems and step out in courage. So and for being here today. And so I'd like to start with just having each of you briefly introduce yourself, just your name, your business name, and how do you help your customers? Love to hear from each of you. So Jill, would you like to go first?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Jill Wick, and I'm a civil engineer turned skincare engineer with Rodan & Fields. I get to help people feel more confident with the best skin of their lives.
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you. Monica.
Hi, my name is Monica Brown. I'm with Freeman Human Resource Management, and we help business owners manage their most valuable assets, their people, through human resources services and plans.
Awesome. Thanks, Monica. So critical right now, all this transition happening. Elise.
Hey, I'm Elise, and my business, I'm going to call it the greatest getaway right now. Probably will change, but it's just an Airbnb, and it's really a place to relax and refresh.
Awesome. Love it. Ayami.
Hi, I'm Ayami. I do social media strategy and management, trying to get off the management part and do more strategy stuff and collaborations, but I mainly focus on Facebook and Instagram, and I am so happy to be here. Hi, Kathleen.
Hi. So glad you're here. We're talking about it today, so I'm so excited because those strategies are so important. And Zach.
Hi, Zach Altenberg. Zach the Trainer is the name of my business, and I offer remote personal training through a app on the phone that provides custom strength training and one-on-one support to help people build strength, reduce pain, and keep them accountable, especially during the last year while people have been stuck at home and sitting on their butts a lot.
Absolutely. It's time to start moving. Got to start buttoning our pants again. Yeah. Yeah. All right, Natalia.
Hi, everyone. I'm Natalia Smith. My business is, I'm a bookkeeper and an accountant. I help my clients, small business owners, through taking care of their bookkeeping. I'm a certified pro advisor for QuickBooks Online and desktop.
Awesome. So glad you're here today. I know you're busy. This is a busy time. Ryan.
Today.
Oh, yeah. Ryan.
So we're good.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad you made it. That's awesome, Natalia. Ryan, how about you?
Hello, my name's Ryan. My business is called On the Fly Fishing, and I make fishing videos to show people the pitfalls and tricks of fly fishing, where to go, how to do it, and what to use.
Love it. Fantastic. All right, Connor.
Hey everyone, my name's Connor Canzoni. I'm with the Canzoni Group Insurance Agency. We do all lines of insurance. I focus on the commercial side, so we're an independent agency. So we have the ability to shop the entire insurance market for our clients.
Awesome. For those of you starting businesses and you need insurance in California, Connor's your guy.
Yep.
Awesome. Hi, Caitlin. Want to share next?
Yes, so I am Caitlin. I am with Evergreen Brand House, and we help small businesses identify the clients they want to serve and then best market to them so they can get the clients they want for their business.
Fantastic. Today's all about lead generation and marketing, so right up your alley. Love it. And Debbie, glad to have you here today.
So my name is Debbie Payne, and I just launched my company called Fundraising It Up. It is a sanitizer, hospital grade sanitizer that I am offering to nonprofits so that they can make some money.
Fantastic.
And I help them to keep safe.
Absolutely. And congratulations on that launch. I know that was long and hard earned.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Heather.
All right, hello everyone. I'm Heather. I am actually a Pinterest manager and strategist. So many of you are probably surprised to hear, but Pinterest goes way beyond those recipe pins that you're pinning or home decor inspiration. So what I'm doing is helping businesses unleash and unlock the marketing potential that Pinterest has to become a lead generator for your business.
Fantastic. Thank you. And Renee.
Hi, I am Renee Lorch, and I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I'm in the development stages of my business, and I specialize in working with individuals and caregivers who are affected by Alzheimer's, dementia, Parkinson's, and I'm wanting to expand my license so I can support the community on a virtual platform and create different trainings and like group therapy and different modalities, and yeah, on a virtual platform. So that's all new stuff for me. I'm excited to be here.
That's awesome. And all this online stuff we're talking about, it's exploding right now. That business is exploding for everybody, not just whether our business is online or not, but the marketing online. We're going to talk about that today. It's huge. And Sylvia, welcome. Would you like to share?
Thank you. How fitting that I'm the last.
But not least.
What I do. And I just barely made it. I just drove all the way from Costa Mesa. We had an event with the doctors with OC Hospice. So anyway, I'm Sylvia Adler, and my business, which I'm still forming and creating, is Smart Health by Sylvia. And did you all know that suffering is optional? Shocker, suffering is optional. So for 7 years, I have been working for a hospice company, providing peaceful and dignified end of life to terminally ill patients. But my passion has always been to live healthily and to achieve good health by changing small things in your life. Like, for instance, are you breathing properly? And I'm an integrative nutrition health coach / breath coach. And right now, April is Stress Awareness Month. And my whole purpose is to teach people how to breathe properly, because it affects every single cell of our body. So that's me in a nutshell. Thank you.
That's wonderful. And so if I had everybody just take a deep breath right now, in through the nose and out through the mouth, right, Sylvia? Good way to start our session. Maybe next time I'll have you lead an opening for us, Sylvia.
I'd love to. Thanks.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So glad to have every one of you here. I'm so excited for the growth that each of you are going to find in your business. So let's get into the meat of today. As you know, in Launch 101, we talk about the 6 key business systems: leadership, finance, management, marketing, sales, and service. These systems are the same whether your business started yesterday or tomorrow, or you're a $1 million international company. These systems are the same. And that's what I love, is that a lot of times small business owners don't realize that they can run their business just like the big business owners run it. And so that is the key to success. The sooner you start building the systems correctly, the sooner you will take off and succeed. So today we are going to talk about lead generation, another aspect of that. We've talked about before saying it's not about look at me, it's about I hear you. But today we're going to talk about getting the opportunity to tell them I hear you. So we're going to do a little bit of look at me today. So let's get to it. What I want to talk about is the idea of a funnel. And so some of you maybe are familiar with digital marketing and you've heard the term funnel being thrown around a lot, but it's really not a difficult concept if you think about it in the way that all relationships, like your loved ones or friendships, whatever, this is a relationship funnel. You start with curiosity. Somehow you were introduced to that person. And then along the way, you got to know that person, you were enlightened. And then there was some form of commitment if they were a good fit, if you were a good fit with that person. And so this is just a relationship funnel. Anything we do in marketing and lead generation is going to be the same thing. We can't rush into, go right into the sell. We want to start with getting their attention, getting that curiosity, enlightening them about what we do, and then asking for that commitment. And usually it's a very small commitment. We're not going to ask them to marry us on date one, right? We're going to, ask for an email on date one, a cell phone number, whatever that is. That's, that's the steps that we take. So you don't want to, we sometimes think about, we got to go right in for the sale, but that's not the idea with a lead generation marketing strategy. It's about developing a relationship, building trust, empathy, authority, and then asking for some small commitment so you have the opportunity to get to know them to ask for a larger commitment. All right. So we have a couple slides with lead generation ideas. These are some ideas that are, if you're in person, they're more personal. So you might ask your friends or family or other acquaintances for a referral to your business. You might join a networking organization and build relationships with other business owners that you see on a weekly basis. You might develop strategic partnerships with another business owner. So you are working specifically with someone who does something complementary to what you do, but not the same as. And so you can maybe share clients and refer back and forth to each other, or even do joint marketing efforts and joint programs and offerings. You might like to be a speaker, do keynotes at in-person events. That's not for everybody, but some people do like to do that. That's a great way to, as long as you have a call to action from the stage at the end, that's a great way to get that connection with people, that they get to know you while you're on stage. You can do cold calling or telemarketing. That is not for the faint of heart. That is not easy. I did a challenge one time with a coaching group I was with that I would pay them $100 if I didn't make 100 calls in 2 weeks. And I just had a nervous breakdown after 20 calls. I was crying, but I paid my $100 and I got back on it and I finished the 100. And I learned A, that I could do it, and B, I never wanted to do it again. But if you want to do it, more power to you, my friends. If you do it, you can have a script and build that up. So it's not impossible, but it is hard. And I know a lot of people that succeed with this, so it is possible. And then there's also what's called bold walking or door knocking, which almost nobody's done this past year, but I know a lot of people who have succeeded with this too. They just walk around a business, community and just introduce themselves. And so there's ways to do that too. But you want to pick some things that are comfortable for you up front. And then as you build your skills, you can step out and try some other things, but you don't want to pick too many strategies. So those are some ideas for some personal lead generation ideas in person. Then here's some ideas for some digital or online lead generation ideas. And you might do some mix of all of this or any of this. So content, creating educational blogs and newsletters, if you love to write, or if you want to connect with a content writer for you to put your thoughts into words. In fact, Heather talks about with her Pinterest strategy is the content behind that, the blogging behind that is critical for success. So building content is really important, but writing is not for everybody. And so there's other ways to do that we'll get to in a second. But we're also going to talk about how once you've captured someone's email, how you can use email nurturing to continue to gain trust with people, to be able to eventually offer them to buy one of your products. So we're going to talk today about creating lead magnets and then moving people into an email funnel. The other opportunity that people have are to do virtual events or create online challenges. Some people get connected via media. Maybe they do a TV spot or a radio spot. A lot of what's going on today is podcasts. And I know Ryan is working a lot on videos for YouTube. Videos are very powerful, whether it's on YouTube or a live on Facebook or whatever, for people to get to see you talking to them. It makes you real. It almost makes you a star too. I remember showing up at a networking meeting once at the very beginning, like years ago, where I wasn't really into social media much. And somebody I had seen do a live on Facebook, it was just a local lady, another coach. And I met her at a networking thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've seen you on TV or whatever, you know. Wow, I was all starstruck. All she did was turn her phone on and talk for 3 minutes. So don't underestimate the power of people seeing you talk. And Jill was just saying she did some Facebook Lives recently. Great job, Jill. Social media, organic posts, meaning you just post content and then it goes out to friends and followers and gets likes and reposts and things like that, shares, or you can actually pay for social media. And so if you're going to do something like that, you got to work with Ayami. Don't be playing with that yourself, friends. You'll lose a lot of money really fast. So make sure you got an expert helping you with that. And then on the internet, we've got websites. We want to make sure our SEO or search engine optimization is honed in. So website experts can help with that behind the scenes. And then also we can do things to improve our Google search, Yahoo, Yelp, whatever those things are, Airbnb, wherever you're listed, you know, those things to think about how to improve your searchability on the internet. So those are some digital strategies. So the idea though is to pick a few that work for you and then work them. So you want to create what I call a tactical marketing plan. It's an intentional, measurable plan to increase your leads, improve your sales conversion rates, and increase your annual revenue per customer. So if you are not tracking your marketing activities and the number of leads and emails that you capture and the number of leads that you're able to convert into sales and what that means in a dollar amount, then you're going to have a hard time repeating what works. And you're just going to keep throwing stuff at the wall and spending time in areas that aren't as effective for you. So the one way to track this in a tactical marketing plan is to have a little spreadsheet that says, okay, these are the 4 or 5 methods. You could start with 2, that's okay. Whatever little methods you're going to use to generate leads to start out with to market, create a little worksheet and a plan of what your activities are going to be for the month. How many blogs are you going to put out? How many networking meetings are you going to go to? One-to-ones are you going to schedule? How many webinars are you going to put on or seminars? So put intention and goal setting around your activities, your marketing activities. And then you can have a little worksheet that says, okay, as if today on January 1st, for the month of January, I intended on doing 10 networking meetings. And by January 11th, I've already done 5 of them. It's like, okay, I'm 50% of the way done with my networking activities, but the month is only 33% gone. So that's an example of how you can track your activities, but whatever you do in your business, be sure that you're tracking numbers and tracking it however you want to do that. So I'd like to spend a little time and just get ideas from each other. What is one sales or marketing strategy you have used successfully or you have seen others successfully? Is there anybody you'd like to share an idea? Sylvia.
So like, for instance, networking, would that be one of the strategies?
Of course, yes, yeah. Absolutely.
So today happens to be the anniversary of my 20th year in BNI.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Celebrating big time.
Oh, that's
And
huge.
For me, I mean, I just renewed, and the whole idea of being without BNI just left me with a feeling of emptiness and sadness, because I met you through BNI, Kathleen, and I have met so many wonderful people. And I mean, I've basically done it for OC Hospice, and most of my referrals have come from BNI. Yeah. So it always comes down to creating really good, solid relationships and strategic partners or power partners. So that for me always comes number one.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations, Sylvia. That's tremendous. That is dedication, my friend. Would somebody else like to share? Ayami.
I'm kind of tagging on to Sylvia's. I love networking, by the way. It's like probably the biggest one that I recommend. And then kind of that goes in hand is cross promotions. So I know you touched on it earlier, finding those partnerships that you can cross promote and collaborate with. I think this, at least my generation, is really good at it. But we could be even better because Heather and I work together. And you know that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have said like, oh my gosh, you guys both do social media. But she definitely has her niche. And my gosh, her level of Pinterest is like beyond out of my screen. And that's what she is an expert in. And I do Instagram and Facebook. And we have similar clients. So we do share referrals and stuff like that. And it's like so neat to be able to do that.
It's fantastic. And it's rare. It takes intention and respect for each other. And I know you both have that with each other. And like you said, you don't do the exact same thing, but you're able to provide services for people that are more than what you could possibly do alone. That's beautiful. Thank you. Debbie.
So I want to say I agree with everything that's been said right now. I'm a big networker myself. And one of the things I think, though, that's really important is that when you are out networking, you need to find who your power partners are and really get to know them so that you can do exactly what they're doing. You can hand off different referrals to them and build that rapport and be able to, you know, move your business forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Debbie. And Jill, would you mind sharing a little bit about your Facebook Lives that you're doing and what it took for you to do that? Because that is hard for everybody. And that's so exciting. You've done a couple of those.
Well, I've been part of a class that is has a lot of challenges and accountability with it. Accountability is, I think, really key. And so we were tasked with doing 2 or 3 Facebook Lives every day this last week. And so I've been somebody who's really struggled with the camera and showing up on camera, even videos. I'm like, oh, I can't do a video, even taking pictures. And so the fact that I was able to get on Facebook Live, and a couple of them I put on my feed, as well as into a couple of private groups for feedback. So yeah, you just have to do it. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. So just bite the bullet and learn to look at the camera and not at yourself. That's the key.
Oh, that's a great tip. And not only that, I saw those in your feed. They were awesome. And I saw you got lots of love. You got lots of love.
Yes, I did.
People
Thank you so much.
Yeah, they care about, they like that. They love that. People eat that up. And
Absolutely.
Then oh, good job. And then Ryan, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, my friend. So I know that you do a lot of improv. And so are there a couple of tips that you can give us about feeling comfortable in front of the camera and speaking?
I don't do a lot of stuff in front of camera, but like a lot of stuff that I would do would be in front of a group of people, but it's pretty much the same thing. I guess something they told me when I was like pretty young and started doing improv was like, nobody cares about you enough to if you mess up. So like if you mess up, you're going to be thinking about it all day long or all evening long, or it can mess you up in the moment while you're talking, especially if it's something live like Facebook Live. And if you like fall into a problem, just know that nobody else is thinking about it as much as you are, and just breeze past it and keep going with what you were doing.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We get caught up in this perfectionist. I definitely did, setting up the cameras and everything. And it's just be you. Yeah, absolutely. Share your knowledge. People want that. Share your personality. Yeah, Sylvia.
I think this past year has helped us all get a little bit away from that perfectionism And I think I see Ryan go like that, because you know what? I mean, when we were in person, oh my gosh, I've got to look perfect, and I've got the shoes and the this and the that and now it's like, you know what? You don't know what I'm wearing down here. Maybe I'm not wearing anything. I'll leave it up to your imagination.
Too much information, Sylvia.
No, I am dressed. I'm fully dressed.
Thank you.
But what I'm saying is that I do believe that it has forced us to connect at a different level. And I mean, look at my hair. I mean, it's just crazy. I need a haircut. I don't care. I'm here and we're connecting, we're communing, we're learning from each other, learning from you. And we've stepped into a different mode of thinking, I'm hoping.
Yeah, it's a great thing. I love it. So thank you so much, everybody, for sharing. I put a few of you on the spot, but I love that we can learn from each other, and I'm learning from you as well. So thank you for sharing, everybody. So, all right. I want to dive in just a little bit more about the personal networking aspect. So we shared a lot in here. So some of this might be a little bit repeat, but I still want to kind of go over the slides just to kind of reinforce, because networking is so powerful. And so you'll notice this is a funnel, just like I did with the relationship funnel. And so the idea here is that if you're in a networking organization, you're going to have maybe what they call maybe a chapter meeting, and you want to show up. That's half the battle, is showing up and being present. And if you have that presence in your chapter meeting, then you can reach out to people and do one-to-one meetings, either in the coffee shop or on Zoom or whatever. And that's how you find those partners, the power partners, the referral partners. It's not actually in the chapter meetings. It's in the work that you do outside of the meeting to get to know people. So it's still about relationship building, get their curiosity built about you in the chapter meeting, and then enlighten them in the one-to-one meetings. And then you have more of that commitment so it's the same series of relationship building in networking meetings. This is my friend Ginger Johnson wrote a book that I just love. You can find it on her website, gingerjohnson.com, if you're interested. But she actually defines, her book is called Connectivity Canon. And this isn't necessarily the definition of networking that I'm used to, but I really like how she differentiates it. So she kind of has a bad, sometimes networking can have a bad connotation, and people think it's just meeting people to determine who you can sell to and say, like that's all that networking is about. But she really has the idea that when we go to networking meetings and build those relationships, that it's really about connectivity, that we are meeting people with the intent to create and develop meaningful relationships. These last three words are so important: centered in service. So we go with the idea of serving each other, and what we get in return, we get it back tenfold. It's amazing. So keep that in mind when you're networking and building those relationships, that you're looking to serve the other person, not sell to the other person. And it will come back to you. Serve and educate them about you and serve them. So networking, there's a few kind of qualities that I think help succeed in networking. I'm in two networking groups, BNI, Business Network International, which I've been in a very long time too. I believe in them. And then also WeOC, a women's networking organization here in Orange County. So I don't recommend that you get involved in 10 networking groups. It doesn't mean you can't visit them, but if your intent is to build relationships, then you need to really make sure that you can commit to those organizations. And so I recommend, when you're in those organizations, is to start with curiosity. Ask. I was scared to death the first time I showed up in a networking meeting. I'm like, what am I going to say? So all I did was ask questions to other people about their businesses. So what do you do? Oh, that's interesting. How do you do that? Just be curious. That's all you have to do. You don't have to have any answers or slick anything, sales spiels. Just be curious and be service oriented. We talked about that. Be intentional. So don't show up, looking like a slob and chewing gum and, really be intentional, be professional, show up the way if Zach, you're a workout guy, don't show up in a suit, right? You don't need to be in a suit, be authentic to you. But I'm just saying, be intentional about the way you present yourself, the way that you speak, and intentional about how much you engage. Be visible. If you have the opportunity to lead be on the leadership team or do a keynote, be visible. You stand out that way. And then be patient. Remember, you're building relationships. So it doesn't mean you're going to show up and make $1 million day one. You've got to be patient. 20 years, Sylvia can tell you that it pays off. And be instructional. So don't expect people to know what you do just because, you know, Zach says, I do fitness, he does fitness training. Well, he has a specific way that he does it. How will people know unless he teaches them? So be sure that you focus on educating others and serving them. And have an engaging presentation when you're networking with people one-to-one. So we've been doing Zoom, and so you want to have a PowerPoint presentation. It stands out. Most people don't have any kind of presentation. They just have a conversation, which is okay. But when you can add a level of presentation to it, people will remember it more. It'll make it easier for them to ask questions. It'll make it easier for them to retain what they've learned and then recall, you know, oh yeah, who was that lady, that business coach who had a presentation? Like they might, hopefully they think that. And then the other, this is a binder. I think you can see it okay. So the idea is when you're meeting in person, print that presentation, put it in laminated sleeves and have it in a binder so you can go through it in person too. So just because you're not on Zoom, we're starting to meet in person again pretty soon. So have the binder in front of you. This is a sales technique people have been using for a long, long time. This isn't new. So we just had to adapt to being on Zoom. But having a binder for a presentation doesn't have to be limited to just a sales presentation. It can also be a networking presentation. And be sure to include who are good referrals for you? Who's your target market? How can people introduce you? What's the expectation? So share that information with them too.
Kathleen, who does one learn to do PowerPoints? Because that's one of my strong or weakest points, rather. I have no idea how to do it.
So that's a great question, Sylvia. And it's just like anything else that we have in business. It's like if we don't know how to do something or we don't want to do it, like I hate editing my videos. So I have someone that helps me with that. So I can connect you with someone. You know Jacqueline Sabral? Okay, let me connect you with Jacqueline Sabral. She can help you with your PowerPoints. She can get you started. So yeah, so that's the other thing is networking. I know Jacqueline from networking. So look at how I just gave a referral right there. Look at how good that works, guys. So you become a benefit to the people who know you because you know people. And so you become a resource for people. So networking is so awesome. And so that's the way networking works. Good example, Sylvia. Thanks for that opportunity. All right, so let's move on to digital marketing because this is a little less, sometimes less known and less practiced, but boy, now is the time to get connected on this and start utilizing this as a complement to your in-person networking. So this is a 1-2 punch. So you can enhance your networking relationships by engaging with them on social media, and you can meet new people through social media and other forms of digital marketing. So let's dive in. So I'm going to talk a lot about funnels is the word of the day. And so I want to define it first here, what a digital marketing funnel is. And this definition is by Russell Brunson, who was one of the original, like he started this a long time ago, and his company is clickfunnels.com. Amazing, brilliant guy and amazing software. So he says a funnel is a series of pages. So he would mean like website pages that systematically drive visitors and leads towards taking the exact action that you want them to take, which would be opting into your email list, buying a product, registering for an event, whatever that is. So he even separates it out between a marketing funnel, which is designed to get leads, and then a sales funnel, which is designed to convert those leads. So we're not going to get into that level of detail today, but just know that funnels are pervasive throughout your marketing and sales processes. So, and the one point I want to make here too is it's awesome to be on social media, but if you are not capturing emails, that connection, that like on social media doesn't get you much. And there's been stories of very famous influencers who were making millions of dollars. Shailene Johnson tells this story. She's the one. And she had all these followers, and then Facebook or some other platform she was on changed the way they did things. And she was starting back at almost square zero. And she learned that if she didn't have anybody's emails. So it all those years of building her followers meant nothing. So get the followers, but for the purpose of capturing emails. And so we're going to talk about that today. All right. So far, so good. Thumbs up, everybody. All right. All right. So write your questions down as I go. Okay. So here's why digital marketing funnels are so awesome. They are inexpensive unless you're paying for ads. You can create them on your own. You get enormous return, and they win over clients by giving value first. So you get to share the knowledge that you have with the world. I mean, how awesome is that? You get an opportunity to serve, and people appreciate you. And I mean, what better, reward can you have? And then eventually they buy from you. So now you've got your double reward. So that's the second reward. But the first one is just serving, which is what we're here to do. That's what we're here to do. So a marketing funnel then is the same kind of thing. We're going to start with our online presence on social media, YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, whatever those are. We're going to start with an online presence and get their curiosity. Then we're going to provide them with a lead magnet, which I'm going to talk about today, to capture that email. And then we're going to do email campaigns to nurture those relationships and then to ask them to buy something from us occasionally. So those are the steps. Make yourself present, provide value, ask for their email in return, and then give them more value until that you have something that you can offer that serves them at a higher level. Really, that's all sales is, offering them something at a higher level. Now, this is going to look different, for Airbnb or YouTube, or there's going to be differentiations, but the idea behind this is the same. All right. So to build the online presence, so we're talking about social media here. You first want to select your platforms, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. You want to be consistent. You want to give lots of helpful value, tips, tricks, insights. You want to brand it. Make sure they know it's you guys. Make sure there's some cool logo or something. I see some of you, like Monica, great logo in the corner there. You're even branding your Zoom calls. Snap, that's awesome. So brand it. Show your personality and your point of view. So not everything is about your business. So a point of view is, I'm a person of faith, so I'll post things about my faith sometimes. Now you might not want to be controversial about politics and all that. That might, unless that's who you are and that's what you want to attract those people. Then whatever, be you. That's your point of view, and just know that what you put out there, that's what you're going to attract back. So have your target market, your customer avatars in mind. And then always have a call to action. So something like, you can click the link above to, my contact information is in my bio. Here's a click here to book your call or get your free download, whatever that is. So have some kind of a call to action. Sometimes I don't put a call to action if I post something about my faith, but I'll post a couple things about my faith and then 5 things about my business, and the business ones will have a call to action. So that's kind of thing, but mix it up with some personal stuff too. So selecting your platform. So I had to update this because platforms are constantly changing and Clubhouse is brand new. So I couldn't even find a visual that had Clubhouse on it except for Clubhouse by itself. So I snipped and pasted it, just an example, and covered up something that isn't even being used anymore. So you want to think about what are some platforms that have been around for a while, or what are some platforms that work? Where do your customer avatars hang out? So if you remember that customer avatar worksheet, it asked, where do you find them? Well, which social media platforms are they on? If you're strictly B2B and you want to contact people who are in corporate America, well, LinkedIn is a good place for you. If you want, there's some, I don't want to say too much about what's on each platform because the experts, this is always changing and the experts can guide you, but you do want to do some research about what platforms you want to be on. You do not you should not be on every platform. That is just way too much work. There are ways to schedule it so you can push out to several platforms, and I do that, and I'm going to show you that in a minute, but just be selective about what platforms you are to make sure that you're really targeting the right people. You don't need to be screaming to an audience of people who aren't interested in what you have to offer. So be thinking about that. Yeah, Debbie, please.
So when it comes to Facebook and Instagram, obviously they're connected. Would you say would you do both?
Ayami, I'll let you handle this.
Yeah, I need Ayami to tell me that. Where are you, Ayami?
It totally depends. So it depends on where you are in your business. It depends on what your goals are in the future. And obviously it depends on your current audience. So for you, Debbie, knowing your business and where you're going, I think Facebook is a great start. I think of Facebook pages, business pages, as an extension of your website. So anything, people are not going to your website every single day. I mean, they're just not going to do that ever. But they might be on Facebook every day, right? So they'll get, updates through there. For Instagram, for your business, I don't think I would start with it right away. Just kind of, I think what we've talked about before. I don't think your audience is there. I mean, they are there. Leisurely scrolling through, watching funny cat videos, etc. But I think you would serve your clients better, or your prospective audience better, on Facebook first and getting that really nailed down, and then moving to Instagram. So yes, they're very similar platforms, but the age demographic and what people use the platforms for are completely different.
That's what I was thinking. They are different, right? Yeah. So it's like, don't I want to attract people your age with
yes,
kids?
And that's a thing too. So a lot of people, what Kathleen said, there's some people that want to have all the social media platforms, and that's fine, because it looks like, you're crossing over audience, right? But like what Kathleen mentioned is that it can be overwhelming. And if you're not honing your message to the right platforms, then you're just kind of throwing things in the air and hoping that something comes back. But if you're really intentional with the one or two platforms, which is kind of what Heather and I kind of preach, is that you're able to get really good at these platforms instead of just kind of using 10 platforms and kind of only doing subpar content for each one. Okay. And the best way to do social media too is the engagement aspect. I think Kathleen mentioned that as well. The engagement aspect is probably the biggest chunk of what I talk about in strategy, because nobody wants to be talking to a robot, right? You can't just keep pumping out content and then have nobody behind there. And so if you have one or two to start out with, it's totally fine. Even though maybe your competitors are on Instagram now, it's better for you to get really good at the platform that is probably the platform for you, which I think is Facebook. And then, then integrate the other ones if you'd like. Because I've seen great successes with TikTok and Snapchat and all that too. But it can't just be what's the next shiny thing? Because, then we're all hopping from platform to platform. Is Clubhouse great? Good, yes. But again, it's definitely depends on the industry, who you are, what you're trying to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And again, it's a brand new platform. Everybody's jumping ship. We'll see if it sticks out for another year or so.
Exactly. Ayami.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Ayami.
Great question, Debbie. Great answer, Ayami, which just proves to everybody you got to have an expert. And the other thing that I want to mention that Ayami talked about is huge. You want to be focused and over a long period of time. It's not about jumping around in anything you do in business. If you're going to say this year, I'm going to focus on this initiative, focus on this initiative for the year. Don't try to do 20 other things. Pick the one or two things you're going to do and focus this year. You can do all your other ideas if they're still good ideas in another year or 6 months or 2 years. You can do them if they're still good ideas. But right now, stick with something, pick something and go for it. That doesn't mean you don't tweak the thing you're doing, but if we keep jumping around with our ideas of our business or on social media, then we're not getting the traction that we want to get in that. So great. Thank you so much. Okay. So let's talk about some types of content marketing. So there's infographics, which I'm going to show you some examples in a second. videos, blogs, podcasts, just to name a few. So an infographic, for example, would be something like this, where you're just posting a picture with maybe a little quote or something on it, or you've taken a selfie. You'd have some content underneath it. Shutterstock and deposit photos are a couple places you can go to get some stock footage that's allowable. It's not a good idea just to copy and paste images from the internet. A lot of times those are copyrighted or whatever. Yeah, Heather's going, no, don't do that. Bad people. So, you could buy some little plans and get some photos that are pre-done, or just use the photos on your phone just to get started. Go take some pictures, take a walk and take some pictures. That's awesome too. And if you're taking selfies, then they're getting to know you, which is also a great thing. And then Canva, oh my gosh, I can't say enough great things about Canva as a tool for designing. It's simple. You can create all sorts of formats, and check out Canva if you haven't before. Highly recommended as a tool. I'm not sure I know too many people who don't use Canva or use any kind of competitive Canva at this point. So it's very creative. And it actually has a lot of photos in there too, if you have certain, the pro level or whatever. So check that out first. And then look, I've got my brand here. Oh, this example didn't have my deer on it. Usually I have my deer on it. I should have picked a better example. I put my deer on everything too now. So make sure you got everything branded. All right, so that's an infographic. Then we talked about videos already. There's a lot of things you can think about with cameras and lighting and clip-on mics and teleprompters. Really just go live, turn your phone on, turn your computer on, record your Zoom, just have good lighting, make sure you're lit well. But other than that, you can get stuff pretty inexpensive, ring lights and things like that. Ryan, go for it.
If anybody's interested in like an easy to use, like very user friendly and still really good camera, the GoPros are, I highly recommend them. Like I use those exclusively, and they shoot with really good quality, and the microphone is pretty good. Or you could even buy it with an attachment where you can put your own custom microphones and lenses onto it now. So they're really good cameras, and yeah, I mean, I highly recommend them.
Are they always, like, I think of GoPro where it got started, where it's on your cap or something. Is that?
No, they're still the same size. I might have one lying around somewhere. Nope, they're the same size. It's like a very tiny camera, and most people, they're used a lot for like video logs now, because you can just put it on a small little selfie stick, and you can't see the selfie stick at all. It just films you. And then it's really good shakiness as well. So when you move around, it's still very clear. It's like really good technology they have going there, and you can live stream from them now too. So
what are they called, Ryan? What kind of camera is it?
It's a GoPro. It's GoPro, and it's a very small action camera, usually used for like, it's waterproof too, Elise says in the chat, so you don't have to worry about getting it wet. It's just automatically waterproof. And it's probably about probably almost $500 for the camera, but you get you can get warranty programs and such on it. And it's very small. That's like the most convenient part about it. It's, you don't have to carry this giant camera around with you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ryan. That's great advice. So, oh, there you go. Renee's got, is that a GoPro?
I think it is. I think it's a form of one. I've never used it. It's not mine, but right? Is that what you're talking about, Ryan? Oh,
I think he stepped away for a second. He's looking.
That's one of the older ones when they still had to be inside of the case to be waterproof. Now they are just waterproof without the case. Wow. Which is really convenient, because when they're inside the case, it kind of takes away the sound quality that the microphone can have. It sounds like it's inside underwater almost.
Got it. Awesome. Well,
Elise just brought me the GoPro. This is the,
gosh, look how tiny now.
Yes, GoPro 8. It's got a small camera on the back that you can watch the videos afterwards. And then the new ones even have like a screen on the front, so you can see it while you're vlogging if you want. This is the GoPro 8. They just came out with the 9, but I mean the 8 or the 7 are both really good cameras. So they're cheaper now because they came out with the 9.
That's awesome. So a lot of us, we can just start with Zoom or our camera, but GoPro is great for the next level. And Ryan, I want to just say something to you on YouTube. If you get an affiliate that's a great thing. Eventually you'll be able to be like, you just had a great commercial for GoPro, and you could start making some money for people clicking in and buying GoPro through your affiliate link. So
hopefully soon.
There you go. That's the idea with YouTube. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Gosh, this is great conversation. Okay. So let's talk about blogs. So a blog is generally hosted on your website. You get to send them out to your email list too. You need to be consistent with them, especially if you email them out. The most important thing is if you're emailing out a newsletter, be consistent. You can do it once a month or once a week, but just be consistent. And Heather has been informing me about how Pinterest is driven by blogs. So everything behind a Pinterest pin connects to a blog on your website, takes you back to the website. If you're not a writer, you can hire an editor or a ghostwriter, content writer. Also, you can just do a video and then that could be transcribed and that can become your blog. So think outside the box, whatever is easiest for you, but blogs are super important. It's actually how I changed my career. Is I Googled something and found somebody's blog because it got that key phrase that I typed in. And that's the first high performance coach I ever had, and it changed my life. So blogs are a great way to capture people's attention when they're searching on Google or wherever. And then podcasts. There's, if you want to do podcasts, that's a real focus and a specialty. There are a couple of great online courses to get started in podcasting: Power Up Podcasting, Pat Flynn, or Podcaster's Paradise by John Lee Dumas. Couple of great guys focused on podcasts. If you're not a podcaster, you can be a guest on a podcast. So it's great from networking or whatever, you can get connected to podcasters and be a guest on a podcast, which is a ton of fun. I see a lot of people doing like Facebooks where they go live together and kind of do this like informal interview back and forth, which I would say is kind of a baby podcast. Also very effective to do stuff like that. So anytime we were just talking about partnerships earlier through networking, a podcast, I would call that a type of partnership, power partnership. So as another opportunity for you. Okay, so Neil Patel is a high-level marketer, and he says, create content that teaches. You can't give up. You need to be consistently awesome. And you may not think you have a lot to offer, but you have your experience, your education. I don't care what your age is, you have life experience, and you can bring that to people, and they will love you for it. And so you can serve at any level of your development. And then Russell Brunson, we were just talking about ClickFunnels. Your personality should be in everything that you do. Don't shy away from who you are. Be you. You are going to attract the right people for you. That's the way to do that. And I was talking about creating your content in batches. So you can, whether you're doing videos or blogs or whatever, write a list of content ideas. You can record or create it all in one day, especially if you're doing videos and you want to get all fixed up and looking pretty. Maybe you have 4 in a row that you do on every Friday. All you do is your video recording. That's a lot easier than trying to get fixed up every day and get a camera in front of your face every day. So batch your content creation once a month or whatever. And then you can create the content, but schedule it out and release it over time. Unless you're doing a live, that's different. But generally you can batch create your content and release it over time. And for multiple postings in social media, I use a program called Meet Edgar, and so that's just one example of one software that you can use to schedule out your content. I believe Canva actually added something like that too, or you can use professionals like Ayami and Heather who patch it out for you, who drip it out for you. All right, so I am going to save lead magnet for our next sessions, because that is a whole huge topic that I am so glad we had our great conversations today. So I am going to go to the end here and say if there's any questions, or what did you like best about today's session? So anybody have a question or like to share? We'll just take a couple.
Hey,
Hey, Elise.
I really enjoyed everyone's input today. I feel like I learned really so much, and I love that we learned from everyone. It was a very collective kind of teaching tonight.
I loved it too. Thank you. Thanks for everybody participating. Anybody else like to share? Ryan.
Yeah, I feel like this session today had a lot to do with things that I am trying to work with right now with what I'm trying to build, and also things that I'm aspiring to have in the future, like cooperating with other creators and stuff like that. So I loved this session. It was a lot of fun, very informative.
Awesome. Thank you. Anybody
Thank you.
else? Sure. Monica.
This was great because this is where we are in our business. Like, who are we? And getting that word out. Most of our businesses, it comes through referrals and networking through BNI, but really the mass, the public, like, who are we, and explaining what HR is, because people don't really know. So this is where we are working on our social media presence and letting people understand who we are and getting our personality out, because we're not your average HR people. Like, we like to have a lot of fun, and we're kind of outside of the box thinkers. So this was really good today.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Debbie.
Is there a way that, would you be open to us putting down our information in the chat, so that, because there's a couple people I would like to reach out to.
That's a great idea, Debbie.
Can we do that?
Yes,
Okay.
please do. And
Thank
I'll
you.
add that to the slides from now on. Thank you, Debbie. Great idea. Please enter your contact information in the chat if you would like to share that with everybody. I love that. Thank you, Debbie. Great idea. All right. So just a reminder, if you haven't done so yet, be sure to connect and log in. So connect on our Fearless Business Group Facebook group. I'm working on connection and more engagement in that. not quite there yet, but we're all learning, right? And then be sure to log into the portal, thefearlessclimb.com, log in, and then you can access the recordings and also the worksheets. So I'll have everything up for you by the end of the day tomorrow for sure. And if not before then. And then there's also the Kajabi app on your phone. It's the same login, but you can watch everything from your phone if you'd like to do that as well. And I'll see you again soon. So be sure to add to your calendar the first and third Thursday of every month from 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. And our next session is May 6th from 4 to 5 p.m. And we will be talking lead magnets and email nurturing. So you are not going to want to miss it. It is the continuation of today's session. And I want to thank my Fearless Climbers for being here today. Thank you so much. It was great to see you. Thanks for participating.